Okay, if you've spent any time at all in a gym, you know the classic debate. Do you lift with high reps to get bigger, or do you go with low reps to get stronger? It's the age-old showdown, bodybuilding versus powerlifting. But what does the science actually say when we make them go head-to-head? Well, we're about to find out. So, which one is really better for you and your goals? Let's get into it because we're going to break down a really cool study from the Journal of Strength and Conditioning Research that finally gives us some clear answers. So here's how most people think about it, right? Bodybuilders are all about getting maximum muscle size, what we call hypertrophy. So they usually use moderate weights for, 8 to 12 reps and take pretty short rests. Then you've got powerlifters. They're chasing pure raw strength. So they're lifting super heavy for just a few reps, maybe 1 to 5, and then taking these long rest periods to recover. But what happens if we could actually level the playing field between? And that's exactly what this study set out to do. It took these two totally different ways of training and put them to the test in a lab to finally settle the score. And to do that, they had to make sure one thing, one absolutely crucial variable, was perfectly equal. And that big, crucial thing is what we call training volume. Basically, volume is the total amount of work you do. You calculate it by multiplying your sets times your reps times the weight you lift. It's a huge factor for muscle growth. So to make this a fair fight, the scientists had to make sure both groups lifted the exact same total amount of weight by the end of the week. This idea, equated volume, is the key to this whole thing. All right, so here's a setup. They took a bunch of guys who already knew their way around a gym and split them into 2 teams for 8 weeks. Team Bodybuilding did that classic 3 sets of 10 reps and rested for 90 seconds. Team Powerlifting, on the other hand, did a heavy 7 sets of just 3 reps, but they got to rest for a full 3 minutes between sets. The workouts looked really different, but that all-important total volume was exactly the same. All right, 8 weeks of hard work are done. The results are in. Who do you think came out on top? Let's have a look. First round, muscle growth. This is the big one for a lot of us, right? You've got team bodybuilding with all that high-rep pump work versus team powerlifting with that super heavy, pure mechanical tension. Place your bets. Who grew more? Okay, get ready for this because this is where things get really interesting. The bodybuilding group, they saw a 12.6% increase in their biceps thickness. Pretty good. And the powerlifting group, they saw a 12.7% increase. That difference is, well, it's basically nothing. Yep, you heard that right. It was a draw. When the total training volume is equal, it turns out that both high-rep training and low-rep training build pretty much the exact same amount of muscle. Your rep range might not be the magic bullet for size that we all thought it was. Okay, so round 1 for muscle size was a tie, but what about raw strength? This is where team powerlifting should just run away with it, right? And yep, this time there was a clear winner. Now, both groups got stronger, for sure, but the powerlifting group saw a way bigger jump in their 1-rep max on the bench press, almost an 11% gain, compared to just over 8% for the bodybuilding guys. So this makes perfect sense. It all comes down to something called the principle of specificity. Basically, strength is a skill. If you want to get good at lifting something really heavy one time, you have to practice lifting really heavy things one time. The powerlifting style was just way better for building that top-end strength. But wait, don't pick your winner just yet, because the story isn't just about what happened to their muscles and their strength. There were some huge real-world trade-offs between these two styles that the study uncovered. Let's dig into those. First up, time. How long did these workouts actually take? Well, the bodybuilding group, with those quick 90-second rests, were in and out of the gym in about 17 minutes. Seriously, talk about being efficient. And the powerlifting group? Oh, that's a whole different ballgame. All those long 3-minute rests between all those sets really added up. Their average workout took around 70 minutes. That's over 4 times longer just to get the same amount of muscle growth. And it wasn't just about the clock either. The researchers actually noted that the guys in the powerlifting group were just toast. They felt totally wiped out, physically and mentally, from grinding out those heavy lifts day after day. The bodybuilding guys, though, they felt fine, like they could have even done more. But this next part might be the most important piece of the puzzle. Let's talk injuries. In the bodybuilding group, 0 people had to drop out of the study. Not 1. But in the powerlifting group, 2 of the guys had to quit before the 8 weeks were up because of joint injuries. One in his knee, the other in his shoulder. It seems that lifting that heavy that often can really take a toll. Okay, so we've looked at the size, the strength, the time commitment, the fatigue, the injury risk. So what's the verdict? Which one is the champion? Well, like with everything in fitness, the best answer isn't about the program. It's about you. All right, let's wrap this all up. Here's the bottom line. The biggest lesson here is that total volume is king when it comes to muscle growth. But if your main goal is just getting bigger and you're short on time, the bodybuilding style is a fantastic, efficient, and safer option. If your number one goal is pure maximal strength and you've got the time to train and really focus on recovery, then the powerlifting style is definitely the way to go. And that kind of leads us to one final big question, doesn't it? If volume is the most important thing for size, but specificity is the most important thing for strength, does that mean the ultimate routine isn't about picking one or the other? Maybe the best approach is actually a smart combination of both styles. Definitely something to think about next time you hit the gym.